how to create a PBN business and what's your criteria for expired domains and how to find good expired domains. Yeah, so how to create a PBN business is you buy a bunch of domains, build them into websites, then you put content on them and you start charging people money for it, right? um,
Literally how I got my start in SEO.
yeah,
Or like the first thing that got traction was PBN
yeah.
building. But I
Um,
would not
Go ahead.
recommend that this day and age, to be honest with you. I feel like PBNs aren't as wildly popular as they were 10 years ago, which would have been when I was kind of doing that. And while they're still very useful, I just think if I'm being honest, there's easier ways to enter the SEO market. But that's not to say that, maybe you want to run your own power hub, et cetera. Just make sure that, you really cross your T's and dot your I's when you're building this PBN. You're going to want to study up because nothing is worse than sitting there having, 20 to 60% of your network get crushed, which happened. I want to say that was maybe like 7, 8 years ago, where all the PBN vendors got hit really heavily. The people that really worked on insulating their PBN, who maybe weren't making as much money, didn't get hit as heavily thanks to lack of footprints. But yeah, there's a lot of things to watch out for when you're building a PBN. And those domains are costly. And then the upkeep on a PBN is extremely costly as well. So just know that there's a lot of overhead and then a lot of risk involved in starting a PBN business. Pretty
Instead,
topsy-turvy.
instead of a PBN, I would rather start a link farm because I know some of these guys are probably making like pretty serious money from these things.
Yeah,
Because like
yeah,
PBN posts, you can't charge a lot, but for link farm, there's so many people who will pay like guest post prices for link farm links. Um, yeah, so you could do that, or you could literally just have a website, a good website, and you could use guest posting as one of your monetization methods on that website. And you don't have to accept guest posts, and you can just make sure they're like quality or whatever. Like you could even have the content written yourself and just basically make someone else pay for their link to be in that or whatever. And I feel like doing that would be, I would rather do that than starting a PBN business. I feel like a PBN business just has too many moving parts. You're working with super low, um, like low value. They're people want it like as cheap as possible. Like the PBN businesses who do the best are just selling these things for dirt cheap. So they have these, just huge PBN networks, and they're selling tons of links, and just it's just super. This like a very in bulk kind of like low quality type operation. But it is what it is. We've got a pretty decent like PBN operation going on, but it's by far, I think, one of the most annoying things that we do, and it's definitely one of like the lower revenue driving things that we do. So I don't know if I could really recommend it, but maybe there's some other people like killing it in the PBN game, and they could tell you how to do it, but it'd have to be I think a different route than what we did. Which if you're focusing on like a quality PBN, I just feel like it's a rough business model unless you're doing as like a private PBN like for yourself. Would you agree with that,
yeah,
Nick?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, would definitely agree with that. Although I will say, we've gone through a huge change with our PBN recently. So it's honestly not even operating like a PBN anymore. For those of you that haven't tried it, or maybe want to get a feel for what a solid PBN looks like, give our PBN a try. And that's not just blatant self-promotion. We
But it
really
is
are
also
proud of what we've got
self-promotion.
over here. Yeah, it is. But we're doing more of a guest post farm style operation here. So we've got limited homepage
But we
posts
don't call them guest posts. We
on
call
these
them
assets.
PBN links because they are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Just
But
clarifying.
a link farm is a PBN, and then even like Neil Patel
Well, a link farm
had
is a PBN that dumb people will pay guest post prices for because
sure,
they don't
or
they
or
don't
just
or
believe
they'll
that
resell it
it's not a
to their
PBN.
clients as at least.
Yeah, like I mean, Neil Patel even called his PBN a different name and had criteria. Like you know, it's all based on definition.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, you know, you're controlling all these websites. Guess what? It's a PBN. Yeah. Now, if you want a little intro to that, we do have type in PBN checklist, and we're third on that page, or just PBN checklist. Sir links a lot, and there's a downloadable PBN checklist for some very common footprints that you can download and kind of go over. Hey, Chris, will you share your screen with me?
My
Okay.
bad. Here
No,
we
you're good.
go. There you go.
Thanks. And then, so let's go to the other part of that question, or it's on here,
Expired
right?
domains.
How to find expired domains. You know, the two main ways that I go about doing is using Spamzilla
Spamzilla.
and Spamzilla basically is all I use now, but Register Compass every once in a while will give you a little bit different results. But yeah, learn how to filter, you know, criteria you're looking for on a broad spectrum using Spamzilla or Register Compass, and then manually audit what you're finding in there before purchasing it, like by combing the backlinks and SEMrush, etc. But yeah, that's a rough, you know, explanation of how you'd go about doing that.
Yeah, use those tools, find a nice domain name, find a niche that you want it to be in, go look at the backlinks, maybe make sure it's got over a set amount of backlinks and filter them down, make sure a decent amount of those backlinks are actually quality and like relevant and like links that you'd actually want. Because what you're essentially doing is just getting links at a discount, right? So you're just judging the backlink profile and saying, hey, for the price this domain is selling for, are these links that I consider quality, is it worth that? But yeah, it is getting definitely more competitive these days. And yeah, you can also check out, like for example, we've got an expired domain list, an age domain list. You could check out if you wanted some of the filtering done for you already. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to be doing a lot of like bidding and whatnot, or you could be doing bidding. Anything else out on that, Nick?
Nope, good to go.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the links below for more info on this topic, as well as other cool stuff like SEO case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks, and happy ranking.